Warning! You want to play a game? Is that a yes?
No.
What's up, bitches? Welcome to the ASOTV podcast for Pretty Little Liars, Season 7, Episode 12. These boots are made for walking. I'm your host, Dom. With me is my co-host, Nikki. So,
I wasn't expecting that.
No, you were not.
No.
What'd you think of this episode? It introduced one of your new favorite characters, didn't it?
No, it did not.
No?
I've never wanted to hit a kid so bad in my life. Seriously.
That's horrible. You
No,
would not make a very good teacher.
No, I wouldn't. That's why I originally I was before of all this stuff of moving to New York and stuff, and I was actually going to school to become a middle grade school teacher.
Oh no. Oh no. No,
yeah,
no,
so
no,
that
no,
didn't
no.
happen for
I'm
good
so
reason,
glad you
because
moved.
I don't have patience for bullshit like this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would have done what Emily did,
Yeah.
except I probably would have raised my hand.
Ouch. Yeah, so we meet this new girl, Addison Duringer. And yeah, something
Dirigible?
like that. So, sure. Yes. No, not at all. And first we meet her in the locker room where Emily's coaching, stuff like that. And Emily begins to question her, like, where were you for practice? Shouldn't you be at class? Typical teacher things.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff my teachers have asked me, and I didn't threaten them, but this girl just she gets mouthy with Emily. Emily then rewards her punishment by taking her off the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a great reward. No, she punishes her, and Addison just she gears flip in her head. She overheard Emily and Paige talking about how
Their history.
Emily fell for Paige, and this stuff, and you see her eyes like light up, and it's just like, oh no, here we go. And then she's also in Allison's class, and Allison's teaching her, and she seems all right during class. It's afterwards she's on her phone, she's texting. Emily comes in, says some stuff to her, and Addison threatens her. And like, how dare you take me off the team? Are you sure that's the move you want to make? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then she starts snapping pictures of Emily and Allison after class, of them hugging because Emily's comforting Allison, Then Addison goes and talks to Paige instead of going to Principal Hackett and mentions, Emily's been inappropriate with us. She's watching us when we change. She keeps touching us. She's like getting close to inappropriately touching Chelsea's thigh. All this stuff, and I'm just like,
And
oh
see,
no.
I know where Addison was going with this. She wanted to be like, oh, here's the picture, because she wanted to make Paige jealous. That wasn't going to work.
I don't think that's what it was. I mean, I think it was part of the reason.
She didn't, I think she heard about the history. She heard them talking, and she's like, okay, so they have a history. They're connected. And then she saw Emily and Allie, and she's like, oh, this is great stuff. I'm going to go to the whatever her job position is now that was made up just for her. She goes to Paige, and she spews the whole story about Emily being touchy and stuff. Paige knows Emily would never do this. So Paige is like the worst person you could have gone to. But she went to Paige to say, hey, here's a picture of your ex with a new girl. Aren't you jealous?
Yeah, I mean, maybe part of the reason. But like, I feel like definitely the rest of the reason was to flaunt, because she knew that Paige would talk to Emily about it. And it was more to flaunt to Emily that she's going to get kicked off the team and there's nothing she could do about it. It's just more games. You know, it's Allison all over again. And, but even Allison said, look, not even I was that bad. And as much as you hate Allison, I think you can agree with her.
No, I totally agreed.
With
And
there.
I was like, wow, she admitted to something,
Yeah.
like she's not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So M's like, yeah, I can't even go talk to her because I know she's gonna file sexual harassment charges. She's gonna get me thrown off the team, thrown out of school, all this stuff. So she doesn't have anywhere to go. She decides to go back to the board game for answers, right? Which is really, really funny because the beginning of this episode, when they're like it left off where last episode left off, they were all sitting around and Emily's just like, I've had enough of this game, and she
Hmm.
storms out like, I'm not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
But now she wants to play the game. Like now a reason, has come in and she wants to play. So it's like at this point, is Addison actually involved somehow in the game? Like,
I don't
was
think
this
so.
all part of A's plan, or is this just a happy coincidence that it all fell this way?
I'm pretty damn sure Addison was just something that AD could use
Right, but
that they
why,
had
why would
no
AD have the
connection to.
footage, of Addison in the parking lot and all that, if this
Because
wasn't part of the plan?
they probably have access to footage everywhere. It's not just the alleyway of the
Mm,
the brew. It's probably everywhere. So if they're really, really wanting to play with the girls, they're gonna look in the right places and
I don't
find the stuff that
know.
they need.
One could argue, and this is me just trying to make you happy because you know that this isn't my theory. One could argue that since Ezra owns the brew, that he would have access to the security footage behind his own alleyway,
Well,
right?
Sabrina also is there too. She works there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we haven't seen much of her, but yeah.
And I don't trust any blonde on this show, so
Not even Hannah.
no.
Come on,
No. You saw Hannah
Hannah's
go
so
off the
innocent.
rails.
She's so innocent.
Bullshit. She fucking stabbed Nokan. No, she's just as shifty as the rest of the blondes on this show.
Mm. But playing the board game, Emily gets some clues. She goes to Allison for the spare key to get to the board game. To begin with, the game, the pieces are moved around a little bit. Emily's now over by the school. The phone has hashtag bench me on it. And there's footage of Addison and her boyfriend in the alleyway behind the brew during the time that she skipped class and was supposed to be at practice. And
Getting high.
yeah, so Emily barges over to the school, goes to practice even though she said she wasn't going to, and she confronted Addison, right? And this is when Addison starts throwing, all these charges now of stalking, and it's just making things worse for Emily until Paige comes and rescues, the day, saves the day with a copy of an email that Addison sent in computer class that was basically Addison bragging to one of her classmates about getting rid of Emily.
Hmm.
And Addison's father, parents, whatever were called, sitting in their office. So chances are things are not going to go well with her, but Emily's rewarded with another puzzle piece.
Hmm.
And I was just like, okay. They look at the puzzle piece at the end of the episode, and Spencer pretty much decides that it's a map. So it's leading away from Rosewood, right? Because they said here's the town. This whole section is the town, then this is route whatever, and this is So it's something that they're going to be leaving and straying away from the town. And all I'm saying is, wouldn't it be really, really weird for them to tie this back to Ravenswood now?
I was actually just thinking that,
Yeah.
but they've been name dropping Philadelphia a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all doing something in Philadelphia for some reason. So I feel like the operation's there, not in Ravenswood, even though it would be interesting.
Yeah. As much
But
as that TV show flopped.
yeah.
So. But, yeah. Jenna comes back this episode. She walks into the police station when Spencer's in there. talking to Detective Fury, because she called Detective Fury over, told him all about Mary Drake, wanted to make it a priority into finding him, or finding her. So they go back to the police station, they're discussing some stuff, and that's when Jenna walks in. Now, she tries to convince, and by say tries, I mean she succeeded, but she tells Fury that Noel tried to kill her, and Noel killed Charlotte, and he was holding a bunch of stuff over Jenna and bribed to pay for another surgery and lured her into her old school and threatened to kill her if she didn't play along and all this stuff. And you could
this
just
whole
see
scene.
Spencer raging. She screamed out, "She's lying!" Like, I think this is probably one of the few times that you actually like felt like Spencer, right?
I was Spencer in that scene. I was screaming at my screen. You fucking bitch. I was going nuts.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see that shit anymore. I was like done. I'm so done with Jenna. I'm so done with that bullshit that she's pulling.
yeah.
I don't
Uh,
care if she's blind. She's being a dumb bitch.
Brian says, "Are we ever going to find out who killed Charlotte, or did the writers just forget about that?" And I think this episode may have confirmed that it was Noel, if not Jenna.
Mm,
And
one of the two.
yeah, so that's not saying they definitely didn't forget about it because they mentioned it this episode. So if it wasn't Noel, then we'll probably find out that it was AD,
Hmm.
whoever that may be.
You know what?
And
I don't think AD has killed anybody. I
who
don't think they've
knows?
gotten any like literal blood on their hands. Yes, they've been connected to killings, but they haven't done it themselves.
Mm,
I think
yeah,
they're all about the mind games.
it's possible. But like Jenna cannot be charged criminally with anything because it's basically her word versus Noel's, and guess whose word gets to hold up? The person who's
Yeah.
alive. So she she backed herself into a nice corner there. You know, she was able to get out. Um, we we find out that Spencer, through a conversation with her mother, found out Melissa didn't even know that she was
The
technically a
daughter.
step sibling. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was kind of interesting because I did wonder that. I wonder how much Melissa is known through all of this, and apparently she didn't
Melissa
even
didn't
know.
even know about Jason either,
Yeah.
so
Yep. And then we find out that her mom, not Mary, but Mrs. Hastings, is selling their house, the childhood home. And Spencer's like, no, no, go for it. And her mom's just like, no, you shouldn't feel that way. Like it's more than just four walls and a staircase. And I was sitting there cracking up, going, we've seen the staircase in the Hastings house more than we've seen the rest of the house. Like the kitchen
hmm.
probably is the most prominent, but number two, right behind the kitchen, is that staircase.
Yep.
And for her to go, it's more than four walls, a roof, and a staircase. I was like, are you kidding me? Because it's not. It's basically exactly what you just described.
Yep.
So I was just like, oh. But no, I think it'll be good for. I mean, the parents are never around anyway, so
And I think the reason why Spencer's like, no, no, it's fine. It's because she's the one who bought Toby's house.
maybe,
That's why she don't care.
maybe it's completely possible. Um, we had Mona, right? Mona and Hannah.
Oh my God.
Mona took it upon herself to take a dress out of Hannah's closet, right?
Worst idea ever.
Now, yes, Hannah designs dresses, but like in clothing and things. But do you honestly think, because she's not a top name, designer, that every single thing in her closet,
Is original?
right?
No.
Like that
Mona,
is,
you are so stupid.
yeah. So we find out, and I'm sitting there going, that's like, she's putting up a big fight. I go, she didn't do that, Jess. She didn't make it. She didn't make it. And we find out, no, she didn't. It was Hannah's old fashion designer that actually came up with the concept for almost all of it.
Yep.
So, and then later on, we see Jenna wearing this dress in white and Mona flipping out. And obviously, it's a dress that's on the market. So now that this is out, Hannah's not going to be able to let the girl wear it in Hannah's name and try to brag that it's hers because it's already out there.
Yep.
And Caleb confronts Jenna outside of the shoe shop that Hannah's shoes are supposedly getting repaired at, and starts yelling at her about the dress. You stole that dress, that design. What? I don't think that she stole it. She was obviously given the dress as a gift from AD,
yep.
but
Yep.
I don't think AD stole it from Hannah's closet either. I think AD got it from her fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically both told each other to back off. And Hannah was in the car with Caleb at the time, so when Caleb snuck out to go talk to, not snuck out, but when Caleb went out to talk to Jenna, Hannah snuck out, went into the shoe repair shop thinking that Jenna's lackeys were up there. And she gets locked into one of the work cages and basically has a PTSD moment from all the flashbacks when she was locked in the shed with the cattle prod and, all that kind of stuff. And when by the time Caleb comes and finds her, she's huddled in the corner, crying.
Well, it wasn't just that, being locked in the cage. Things were happening. The machines turned on. There was a screwdriver coming through the wall and everything. So things were happening. So yeah, she's going to have an episode. And then she got the text after it all happened saying, "Wait your frickin' turn."
Yeah.
So, she wasn't supposed to be in there quite yet, obviously.
No.
But I just want to mention the one thing with Mona and Hannah when they're discussing the dress initially, and Mona uses an analogy about the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And Hannah, I can't remember what she said, but
she said if you didn't take, if someone didn't pry Da Vinci off of, or pry the Mona Lisa off Da Vinci's canvas, the Mona Lisa would have ended up with a perm.
And then Hannah says, "When have you ever had a perm?" to Mona. And I sat there for at least 2 minutes going, wait. You flaky dummy.
Yeah. Hannah thought that Mona was referring to herself as the Mona Lisa. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh, Hannah, you're so precious.
I think that was the only scene in this episode that I actually enjoyed. Everything else was just between Addison and Jenna, I wanted to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
I just can't even.
Well, what about Arya? We dealt with Arya and the reporter Jared Healy coming up to her,
mm-hmm.
right? And was I want to do a human interest piece. My boss really wants this story about, Ezra reunited with his long-lost fiance, and she basically flipped out and was like, they were never engaged. She just
we
storms
are.
away.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were two of you. Oh,
I actually really liked the scenes with Arya and Holden.
Yeah.
And I liked how she, stayed with him and helped him out with somebody else's wedding, and the stuffed mushrooms looked really good. I don't blame Spencer for eating them.
Yeah, when Spencer stopped by.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really shipped Arya and Ezra, but I think Arya and Holden would be better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. Holden was definitely watching her very closely. Right? He watched her take her engagement ring off and put it on the tray
mm-hmm.
by the window, and then when she was talking and he goes, "How come you can't say Nicole's name? Is it that bad?" And she's like, "It's not that I can't say it, I just don't want to say it." And I was like, fair enough.
I hate that it seems like she really doesn't like Nicole right now. like legitimately hates her when she really doesn't have a reason to. Yeah, okay, Ezra's spending a lot of time with her, but she's gone through a lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
and they were really close. So I mean, you kind of have to give Ezra a little space here. And even Holden said if it takes him a week or 2 weeks to get over this, then give it to him. If it
Yeah.
means pushing the wedding. And she was like, "Oh, okay," but you can still see her like just like squirming, wanting to do something to Nicole or wanting to say something to Nicole. And she really shouldn't even be worrying about it.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
that article.
yeah, she gets a alert on her phone, right? And it's an article about, Ezra and Nicole reunited and all this. And guess what, guys? It was an actual legitimate article that was I paused it, I read the whole thing, as much of
Mhm.
it as you could read anyway. And it's not like, they do on some of the other things where they just put a bunch of filler text because they don't expect you to be reading it anyway. It's just picture. No, this was a legit article. You can go back, pause it, and read this thing. And it explained, how she was taken, how the guerrilla tacticians, whatever, came in and took her and were moving her place to place, and she had a hood over her head, and like all this stuff. It was all mentioned in the article, and I was like, I was actually surprised. But when Arya gets this, she kind of freaks out, and she's like, I gotta go, and that's when she takes it upon herself to let's go visit Nicole. I'm like, no, you're not doing this, Arya. You're not doing this. She tries to like get into the front door with saltwater taffy. I was just like, but Holden followed her there and
Mhm.
stopped her. He's like, Arya, don't do it. I was just like, Holden, you're too like precious right now. Like, did you really just do that? Like the way he said it, he's like, Arya, don't do it. It's just like the way he said it. It was great. And they go out for pizza. He's like, yeah, this pizza's all right. It's not as good as mine, but
Yeah,
whatever. And
of course a chef would say that.
yeah, he's gotta. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like the chef on Twitter. What's his name? You,
There's lots of chefs on
you're the
Twitter.
one that showed it to me.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay? He's not
Yeah,
just on Twitter, he's everywhere.
I know that, but I'm saying on Twitter he's going around. People tweet him food, and even if it's something that looks good, he trashes it. Granted, a lot of people are just posting bad stuff to get a reaction out of him. But
Yeah,
even when the occasional good one slips in there, he still has to make a comment, a derogatory comment about the way it is
because
and stuff.
that's the joke.
No, I know, I'm aware, but I'm saying it's a common thing with chefs. Like they
Yeah,
only their
they,
food is good enough. You know, so, but he's sitting there and he's giving Arya advice, and he's basically backing himself into the friend zone right now. Like he thinks he's setting himself up for, I'll be there when Ezra falls through and she'll be like that. That's what he's thinking, but he's not. He's setting himself up for the friend zone because what guys don't realize is the more time you spend with the girl and you're trying to like you know do stuff, the more she realizes you're gonna be there no matter what. So I'll just kind of keep you around, and then when I find something else, you're still gonna be there, so I don't have to worry. That's what that's how the girls think, right, Naomi?
no, no,
Nope.
that's not it at all. But
Nikki,
uh,
whatever. But yeah,
but she
that's
she
what
definitely
that's
needs
what
a
girls do.
friend right now that is not one of the other girls because they're too busy with their own shit.
Yeah,
So Holden's a good friend to have right now, and I think that's how she sees it. Maybe he wants something more, but that's a common thing that happens. But she doesn't need a partner right now. She
right.
needs a friend.
No, I'm not saying she does, and like, but I'm not saying that it's an intentional thing that girls do either. It's just how it happens. And I'm not saying that you've done it because I don't know. It's just you can't tell me that it doesn't happen often. You know?
No, there's some girls who are very aware that that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
So, I mean, yes, it does happen.
yeah. So, but yeah, I feel bad for Holden 'cause I actually really like Holden. I'm so glad that he's back on the show because he's fantastic. He really is. And I think this was
Oh,
the
yeah.
perfect time to bring this dynamic back. Like I don't know, it was really good.
Yeah, I can take back my statement where I said the only scene that I really liked was between Hannah and Mona when Hannah was being flaky. I think all the Holden Arya scenes this episode were really good. It's because it's actually taking a step back from AD.
Yeah.
It's not connected to AD as we know of right now. Could be, but it doesn't seem like it, and it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah. Yep. Brian in chat is saying my problem with Addison is that she's basically just another Allison, but she's
It
not.
was
She's
stated.
worse. She's
No, she's
worse.
worse. It was stated she's like Allison, but worse. So yes.
Yeah. And Brian also says that Allison's dog is AD. Where did that dog go? It's been 5 years
Where
in the
did any of the
story.
other pets go?
The bird, Tippy,
Yeah.
was found that it's back in the hands of A or AD. I don't know. One of the A's has Tippy. That was the last we saw. So I was like, that was good to know because I was like, where the hell did Tippy go? It just disappeared.
It's kind of like on other shows where, they have animals and then like at the very beginning and then all of a sudden they disappear. Kind of like Charmed, there was the cat. They did end up explaining that later on,
Hmm.
but in the very beginning of the show there's this cat. It's in all the freaking, the show like the show theme going into it and like it's like where's the cat?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like they show the dog or anything in the previews for this show or anything, but like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, where did the dog go?
Yeah. Allison's
Like,
dog's AD. Allison's dog also stole the hockey stick, the lacrosse stick.
yeah, the lacrosse stick. I was just gonna mention that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. I'm curious to see where this map is going to lead them, but it seems like our theory from last week is kind of holding out, one puzzle piece an episode.
Hmm.
So we will have to see how that plays out. If that's the case, I think we have 4 more puzzle pieces.
6.
6 more? 6 more puzzle
Yeah.
pieces. Yeah. And that'll put us in line with the finale, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So. Next episode is called Hold Your Peace. Hannah is sure Jenna is to blame for a recent professional setback and is forced to bring Caleb up to speed on current events. This is not going to go pretty. How many times have they kept A involvings from Caleb, and when he finds out, he gets mad? How many times?
Every time.
Yep. Arya and Emily team up to investigate Sydney for more information about Jenna and her connection to AD. It's interesting. I'd like to see more of Sydney. We barely got any of her recently. We had her like last episode for a brief, like 30-second appearance.
Yeah.
Spencer grows closer to Detective Fury, while Arya struggles with the current situation with Ezra. Hannah's turn at the game is more intense than she bargained for, and leads to shocking, pun intended, I think, consequences. She was
Maybe.
shocked a lot with that cattle prod, so
Yeah, I know.
we'll see. We'll see.
Mm.
So I think that's about it. You have anything else for us, Nikki?
Not really. No.
No. All right, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
And you can find me down below at Phenomenon, Phenomedom. You can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.
I have a headache in my stomach.
I have a headache in my head. We're supposed to be.
Oh.
Hmm.